The more of these clips that come out in the NDP, the more I try and psychoanalyze these mental midgets, try and figure out what's wrong with them. Now, as I've said before, I absolutely have no degree in psychology, no background in psychology. I just like to observe people and wonder why the fuck they're so stupid. And one thing I've noticed is that all of these people are completely emotionally stunted to like maybe a 6-year-old level. But yet somehow they're convinced that they're on a high horse of like morals and virtue signaling and all of that stuff because the Canadian government lullabied a bunch of adults into thinking that they can't think for themselves. The Canadian government needs to sift your information online because they don't trust you. You as an adult aren't allowed to have a glass of wine outside without the cops being called. You're not even allowed to smoke cigarettes outside of certain establishments because it's bad for you. But you know what you can do? You can like shoot up heroin right in front of parks and schools that's government given. A 5-year-old can change their gender if they feel like it. They don't even have to tell their parents because apparently a 5-year-old has the mental capacity to know what the fuck they are, right? And this is the state that they want a bunch of adults in, is stupid, emotionally dysregulated, because if you're emotionally dysregulated, you're not an adult. You can't make your own decisions. I mean, you've seen them. They can't even take opposing views. They start losing their mind. These people are dangerous. I understand that we completely take them as a joke because they are a joke. They're actually complete degenerates. They know that. The government knows that. That's why they use them. That's why they gave these degenerates a platform. Because when you give degenerates a platform, ideas and thoughts are actually, you know, contagious. And so the more of these mental midgets and mental people you have in society, the sicker society becomes, and then the more control it wants. And that's what the government wants. The government wants us to be like, hey, you guys need to control them, right? And they are so dangerous because they are delusional. 3% of the population in Canada has now managed to change how we think, how we feel, how we talk, and everything. And they first started off with NGOs going backdoor in corporations putting DEI in. Then they put it into like movies and social media to train us. So once it became government policy, it wasn't really that much of a difference. Then they went and did backdoor deals with NGOs, unions at schools. I know certain teachers in like, you know, Canada, especially Saskatchewan, where I wouldn't even trust them with like a bag of dog shit, let alone teaching my kids. Do you know what I mean? And so we have let 3% of the population who is mentally ill completely take over our governments because we're too scared of hurting their feelings. Like, this is partially like also all of our faults who are normal for letting these degens do what they have done. And we really need to start speaking up and telling them to go